power of the word. The power of the word. Thank you. If you'll please take your seats in God's house. The Christian church was faced with a challenge during the time that John wrote this gospel. It originated out of a Jewish culture. It was shared through a Jewish vernacular and Jewish thought. The problem was that Christianity had spread throughout the entire world through the diaspora. And so now there were more Greek-speaking Christians than Jewish Christians. And Jewish ideas were foreign to Greeks. And so how would the gospel be presented to a Greek world? John faced that challenge to teach the deity of Christ around 100 AD. He faced the challenge of teaching that Christ is God. He is not a created being of God. Christ is God. God is Christ. Let's start right there with in the beginning. In the beginning parallels Genesis 1, in which we see that in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Some theologians say that John 1 is the Genesis of the New Testament. In the beginning was the Word. Was is a verb that usually is used in the perfect tense or the past tense, but in this context, it's used in the imperfect tense, which implies a continual existence. So we could literally translate this to say, when the beginning began, the Word was already there. And so when we read this text, the Word was there in the beginning before the beginning ever began. And if we really know God, God will be in the end long after everything is gone. That's the power of the Word. Yeah, and we know that words do have power. It was John Knox who preached during the Reformation in Scotland and reached tens of thousands. It was Roger de Lille who wrote the Marseillaise and sent men marching to the French Revolution. It was Winston Churchill who empowered Britain during World War II just with his speeches. It was Nelson Mandela who abrogated apartheid in South Africa just with his speeches. And at each stage of the creation narrative in Genesis, we read, and God said, because there is power in the Word, but there's power in the Word of God, because when God speaks, stuff starts happening. In the beginning, God said, let there be light, and there was light. In the beginning, he said, let there be water, and there was water. He said, separate the water from the water and make a firmament, and separate the waters which are above the water from the water below the firmament which are above. God said, let there be. And when God said, let there be, all the legions of possibility stood at attention and said, what is our next order? When God spoke, stuff started happening. Grass started growing. Bunnies started hopping. The sun started shining. And man started breathing. How many of you know there's power in the Word of God? Yeah, there's power in the Word of God. Psalm 33 says, by the word of the Lord, the heavens were made. Psalm 107 says, he sent forth his word and healed them. Isaiah 55:11 says, so shall my word go forth from my mouth, and it shall not return void, but shall accomplish that which I purpose. And brothers and sisters, I want to empower each one of us this morning to know that there is power in the Word. You can speak a word that's prophetic, or you can speak a word that's pathetic. You can speak life, or you can speak death. You can speak positivity, or you can speak negativity. You can speak blessing, or you can speak curse. You can say God bless you, or you can say God, well, let me go on further. You can speak love, or you can speak hate. You can speak encouragement, or you can speak discouragement. You can build up, or you can use your words to tear down. You can speak to your body and say, I'm healed, or you can decide I'm sick. You can speak to your situation and say everything's all right, or you can look and say everything's all wrong. You can look to a mountain and say, mountain, be moved out of my way. Or you can say, mountain, stay on in my way so I can't go nowhere. I just want to ask somebody, are you going to decide to speak life, or are you going to decide to speak death? It's your choice, but there is power in the Word.